we go. All right. So, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It was really nice to be able to schmooze a little bit in the beginning and to always see your faces on Shabbat. And I'm extra excited for Shabbat tonight because Rabbi is back. He's back. And
Oh,
so, so we're very excited. And so tonight's Shabbat, I'm going to let Rabbi talk about it, but we're very excited to see all of you. So, Shabbat Shalom.
well, Shabbat Shalom to all of you as well. And it's nice to be back on this venue for this week and for next week. And it's nice to see Carrie, and also Tom is on as well. And have not seen them in a few moons. Carrie and Tom are Helen and Helen Helen and Erwin's two wonderful children, of which they are very, very proud. And so we're glad to have them with us tonight. But we're going to get into a little bit later, but it's a special weekend because it's 40 years ago that Temple Bet David had an arson attack by two neo-Nazis who were inspired by Tom Metzger. And for those of you who are old enough to remember, it was Tom Metzger's son who broke Geraldo's nose one day on the show with throwing a chair at him. And it was a time when Tom Metzger ran for office to be a state representative and was a virulent pro neo-Nazi, and did not win, but received 45,000 votes. And it's like today, we have people on the fringe voting in very different ways and having very different views of what reality is. And so we look back at those times, and Erwin and I will discuss how frightening those times were, but how bright the future looks for our country if we invest our time and we invest our energies and help one another. And so Shabbat is a time in which we let go of some of our fears, and we celebrate what we've overcome and realize that the challenges in each and every generation are real. And I think about my father in 1908 when he survived the Russian pandemic. Now, he had a sibling who did not. 1918, 1908, 1918. And how they survived that in Russia as best they could. And I think, every generation knows something. Well, that's another generation. So I know it now, what it is to have a pandemic and how difficult it is. So again, we welcome all of you here for Shabbat, and we're thrilled that Erwin has agreed to musically begin our service. And I think that's really terrific. I don't know if Erwin is all puckered up for the Hine Matov, but for those of you who don't remember, Hine Matov means how wonderful it is for people to dwell together in unity.
All right. Oh, they're unmuted. All right. Erwin, is whenever you're ready to lead us in Hine Matov.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Steve, I know you're the musician, so forgive my sour notes.
Please, it's not sour, it's sweet.
Okay.
But is there supposed to be a picture? I guess not.
Where do I get the right harmonica?
koach. Toda, Erwin. Beautiful. Oh, I
Thank
want to
you.
learn the harmonica. So I'm gonna open up the chat room like I always like to say, and we try to utilize that chat room so you feel like you're not on another Zoom, even though you are. We want you to feel like you're a part of our services, and so use that chat room. Everyone, go right now. Go say Yasher Koach to Erwin for playing so beautifully and starting our service off with such a beautiful way. And maybe he'll be playing something else later today. He doesn't know it yet, but maybe. So stand by, Erwin. All right. So, as Rabbi said on Sunday, it is 40 years since the arson fire happened in Temple Beth David. And so I want to just say a big thank you to Steve. He was able to send me these pictures, and all these pictures I compiled into kind of this video, a very short video, but just kind of, if you weren't there, you didn't know about it like me, it's just kind of to see kind of what really went on. And so let me share that screen real fast with everyone. All right, can you all see that? The fire? Thumbs up? Yeah? Okay. All right.
Yes.
So something short, something sweet, even though it wasn't obviously any sweet times. But later on in the service, I'm very excited. We get to hear what Rabbi Lachtman is going to tell us 40 years later, and Erwin as well. And so we're really excited. I'm really excited to hear about that because I have so many questions, but I look forward to hearing that. So we're going to officially begin our service. Erwin began it for us. That was just a little kind of setting the atmosphere, the ambiance, so to speak, of tonight. It's not just a normal Shabbat. It's a really extra special, emotional Shabbat. But the way we love to always start our Shabbat is by lighting the candles. And so I'm going to invite you, if you have your candles, I see a couple people reaching for them. If you have your candles, light them with me. If you do not, I will be lighting them for everyone here. And let me just pull up that slide. Here we go. So I've gotten better at the Zoom. All right, you guys can see the slides, okay? Yeah, okay, perfect. There we go. And slide play from. Okay. All right. So We're going to light it, and then we're going to say our blessings. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindled light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And join me at home in singing Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. And so we go right into Lecha Dodi. This is the one we all love, and I'm not changing it, and I'm going to keep using that same joke. I'm not changing it. I'm going to keep using it. But Lecha Dodi, you know, we do the first verse, and on that last verse, I ask you, if you're able to please rise, face the door. You're going to face what is, in theory, the east towards Jerusalem, if you're able to. So join me at home. It's another Shabbat, except we have a Rabbi Lachtman tonight. So sing, clap, let's have fun. Let's have a wonderful Shabbat. Da 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 da. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. Ready? Lie with me. La 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 And like I mentioned, if you are able to, if it's your custom and you're able to do it, please rise. You're going to face that door. I'm going to try to get in the frame. There we go. Bo'ii b'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'betola, toch emuni ham segula. Boi chala, lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. And we are now at the Baruch Hu. The Baruch Hu is our call to worship. Sorry, I'm standing, so my light's a little not where it needs to be. I'm trying to find it. So Baruch Hu, if it is your custom, to please rise for our Baruch Hu. And join me at home. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai Hamevorach. And if you are standing, you're going to bow right now on Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed. And as you know, this is our Ma'ariv Ravim, when our day turns into night. I look outside, it is nighttime, so that has happened. So in this moment, I'm going to do that Chatima, that signature part of the prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Ravim. And now you can have a seat. And so we have, I'm going to invite Miss Doris and Steve. They're going to lead us in the Shema and Ve'ahavta. And something Miss Doris, when we were talking, she said, I want to do English. It's nice to know what the prayers are about. It's nice to be able to know what we're praying about, you know? And she's known what it is for years, but so for anyone else that maybe doesn't know. And so, Miss Doris, are you here? We have a lot of people tonight. It's wonderful. Let's see, Miss Doris, is she not here? Oops. You're wanted on the virtual bima. Miss Doris, are you there? Jackie, do you have a Miss Doris in your party tonight?
Yes, but Steve is going to do the Hebrew first, and then I'll turn the camera on Doris.
Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Steve.
So, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Everybody together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Everybody together. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. And now here's the English version of it. Let's see.
Here, O Israel, face the camera, Doris. Where is it?
Here, right here.
Okay, sorry. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Praise be his name in his glorious kingdom forever and ever.
Good.
Well, that was from memory. That's not what's really in the book.
That's okay.
Uh-oh. You guys unmute yourself again? I'm not sure what happened. There we go.
There we go. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות עד ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, I'm getting mixed up now. והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
He's gonna do, now Doris is gonna read the English. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your might, and with all your soul. Take these words that I've commanded you this day and teach them to your children. Recite them when you are sitting in your house or when you are walking by the way, when you liest down and when you riseth up. Bind them for a sign upon your hands and make them for frontlets between thine eyes, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God. From the Union Prayer Book.
I am Adonai your God.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah. I am your Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God.
Amen.
Yasher Koach, Steve, and Miss Doris, go put it in that chat room. Thank you so much. It is really nice to have English as part of our service. You know, it's nice to know. Some people just pray and they don't know. So thank you again, Toda Toda, to Steve and Miss Doris. And so we are now at our Micha Mocha. I don't know. I don't know. Rabbi, do you want to say anything for our Micha Mocha, or you're muted, Rabbi? Hold on.
Yeah,
Hey.
who is like unto our God is the opening lines of this prayer. But the idea is that God can be called by many different names and worshipped in many different ways. But we as Jews believe there's only one way to worship God, and that's from the prophet Micah, and to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. And we don't measure good Jews by, those who separate ham from cheese. We measure good Jews by what they do that's good in the world and whether they make the world a better place. And that's all of our challenge. And so, if your God of your salvation is in a different name, that's fine. If that God doesn't encourage you to be good people here on earth and to do goodness and to love mercy and to walk humbly, as Steve chanted in the Via Hafta, then we sort of missed the boat. So, who is like unto our God? No one is like unto our God. But again, we respect the other religions that inspire us to be better people. And so, whether you're, a Christian, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Zoroastrianist, whatever you are, follow the godly ways and the godly teachings. And we have a lot of wonderful, wonderful, inspired atheists and agnostics as well. So, but one of the reasons we stay Jews is because we want to perpetuate it for the next generation. And not every Jew who comes to Temple Bet David, is going to live a Jewish life thereafter. And that's really okay, as long as they live a life that God would be proud of them. And I'm talking about the God of their salvation. So who is like unto our God? There's no God like unto ours. And this was one of the things that separated and differentiated us, in terms of our monotheism, that we have we believe in one God, as opposed to the Greeks and the Romans, who believed in the God of the ocean, the God of the sky, the God of the crops, the God of war, and the chief among all was Zeus for them. So it's a long introduction.
No,
I had to make up for the last 6 weeks I haven't been here.
It's okay, but it's great. We're happy to hear it, and and I like to take breaks, and it's so nice to go, Rabbi, take it away.
Yes, yeah. You could have had a couple kasha varnishkas in that time. You're right.
So this is the Micha Mocha mashup into Miriam song. So the next thing I'm gonna say, Arlene, Jan, and whoever else, go grab your tambourines. Like I said, on Shabbat, we like to make music. We like to get excited. We love being with each other. And so I'm going to invite you, if you have it, to, if you want, unmute yourself and play. If you have something that makes noise. And as I always say, your voice makes noise. Your voice is your instrument. So join me for Mi Chamocha. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Join me at home. Ready, everyone? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי היום לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו. Unmute yourself, Jan and Arlene. Ready? Here we go. Achad, shtaim. I'm stalling in case you can't tell. Yai lai lai. And everyone's joining. Yeah. And the wind. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand, she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, dances toward the light. And ladies, ready? And And for time purposes, that last verse. And Miriam the prophet took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her. Just as she
When Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We just lived through a miracle. We're going to dance tonight.
And as I'm going to invite you, as always, to stand up if you're able to. We are dancing. This is our Exodus song, so let's make it feel like that's what's going on. Ready? If you're able to stand up. Ready? And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang a song. Miriam and the women danced and danced along. Sophie, thank you, Jan and Arlene, and everyone else that joined in. This is a fun one. Get the heart going, You gotta do calisthenics sometimes in Shabbat. And so speaking of Jan, that's a perfect segue. Jan is going to lead us in the Amidah, and I say it every week. I'm doing the old dad jokes. I'm doing the old mom jokes. Amidah, as I've said, Rabbi says it's the amud. It's the pillars that are standing. But if it's your custom, like for me, I learned it standing up. I've taken both our customs together. So if it's your custom, I'm going to invite you to stand up. If you don't want to, that's okay, because the pillars are standing for us. So Jan, whenever you are, and Sasa are ready.
Adonai sebatai chipta ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר הסלבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אלוהי, חיי הכל אתה רע והושיע. מכלכל החיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא העולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני וחיי הכל.
Cantor, you're muted.
Yep. I just got the pop-up. See, that's what happens. So thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Jan and Sasa, for leading us so beautifully in the Amidah. Thank you for always being here, for Shabbat, and just being so reliable and leading beautifully every week. And Sasa, it's great to see you as well and leading as well. So thank you to both of you. Put in that chat room, everyone. Please utilize that chat room, like I said. And so we're now in the service where we are saying our healing prayer. And, I've talked about it every week, but our healing prayer, it's not just for those that are sick, but for those that are taking care of anyone that's sick or, needs healing. And so, as always, we like to open it up to everyone. You are welcome to either go in that chat room, put a name of someone that's in need of healing. If you want to, you can unmute yourself and share that name. And if you don't feel comfortable doing either, please hold that person's name near and dear in your heart and you're thinking of them. So if anyone wants to, and I have some names as well. So there we go in the chat room. Okay. So we want to say Misha Berach for Jerry Shutman, Marilyn Bass, Hank Bailey, Arlene Bailey, Nancy Eisenberg, Dave and Dina Hill, the Anhalts, Aaron Bernstein, and anyone that has COVID or is sick. And we have some names as well. We have a lot of names actually in that chat room. Oh, that's going so fast. Kent Holiday, Natalie Souter, Samson, West, Aria Shapiro, Elizabeth and Barbara, Bill Hayes, Gemma Frazier, Judy Reed, Tim Lucy. Sorry if I'm butchering the names, but it still counts even if the Cantor messes up the names. If there's any names, I heard some people were unmuting, so I'm going to open it up now to anyone that wants to share names as well.
Ken and Shirley Anholt and Kravitz.
Robert Brazen.
Teresa and Dave.
We have Sylvia Fishman and Kathleen Flanagan.
Robert Frazen.
Doesn't come through.
No, you're muted. You're not muted, I mean. You're unmuted, so they probably heard you.
Okay.
All right. Any other names? And again, like I said, if you don't want to share a name or say it out loud, hold it deep in your heart. And, while we're saying the prayer, you're thinking of them and you're sending them a refuah shlema.
Cantor, Rick and Renee Klein.
All right. So please join me at home Mi sheberach avoteinu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And one more time, any names you might have shared in that chat room, any names you might have spoken out loud, or any names you were thinking of, and you were thinking of them deep in your heart, may each and every single one of them have a big and complete refuah shlema. And one more time at home, join me in saying a big Amen. All right. So now, like I said in the beginning of service, this is the part where we're going to talk to Rabbi and Erwin Frazen are going to talk to us about the Arson fire 40 years later, or maybe in moments. I'm not sure. So, Rabbi, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, let me go and do a little bit, and then I'll have Erwin, because Erwin was really the moving force behind the refurbishment, the rebuilding, and putting things back together. Not necessarily just from the committee standpoint, but he was past president at the time, and more importantly, he helped to coordinate the contractors and to make sure everything was done well. And it was done well, and it was done well because of Erwin's supervision and guidance. In every generation, we know hatred. 3 years ago, I guess, we saw Charlottesville, and we saw people in their 30s and 40s marching with torches and saying, Jews will not replace us. And their grandparents are the ones who fought the Nazis in World War II. And there's a terrible expression, but their grandfathers would turn over in their graves if they knew what they were doing and what they were saying in those chants. But every generation knows hatred. Every generation, can fall apart. And for those of you who remember the book Lord of the Flies, or saw the movie, you know that people left without rules, without ideals, become animals. And the purpose of religion is to make us better people than we normally would be without religion. And so religion is really important. And I pat those people on the back who are observant Christians, as well as those who are observant Muslims and Buddhists and Zoroastrianists, and I pat those on the back who are atheists and agnostic, who do justly love mercy and work hard to make the world a kinder and gentler place. And we know that we need kindness and we need gentleness. But when this happened to us, I remember on Friday night services, we went out to a place that's no longer there called Tui. And we went out and had, I think a couple of us had Stinko burgers, and a couple of us had sundaes. And this was like the second or third night of Hanukkah. And it was the second or third night of Hanukkah. And that morning, around 6:30 in the morning, one of our past presidents, and some of you who are longtime members remember Jerry Siegel was knocking on my door, and I couldn't imagine what he wanted at 6:30 in the morning. And he said, you know, the temple caught on fire. And then I automatically thought, "Oi, I thought we didn't we didn't blow the candles out from the Hanukkah or from the Shabbat candles." And of course, I got dressed quickly and came down, and we saw what happened. And we found out there were two men who were there on a mission, who previously that night had gone to the Alhambra temple to set the fire there. And it was just too busy of a street for them. They wanted a place that was quieter. So they came to Temple Beth David because it was on a quiet street, and we didn't have the gates in those days on the either side, and they went around to the kitchen and broke in through the kitchen and torched the bima, the prayer books, the pews, and and they left. So the fire went on for quite a few minutes, and then my son's soccer coach, Johnny Juarez, was working at the fire department in Temple City, and there was no fire in Temple City, but they were called to Rosemead because the Rosemead fire truck had been disabled that day in an accident. So they responded on the way back. Johnny said he smelled something in the air, and he pulled into the parking lot, and they went around the side and could see the flashing lights coming through the windows on the east side of our sanctuary. And they came in and they put it out. About an hour or two later, the arson squad came and saw two men who were watching what was going on. And they said, "Gentlemen, what are you doing here?" They said, "Oh, we heard there was a fire." Well, that really wasn't true because it was never publicized on the fire station band. It was never broadcast because this station was able to handle it themselves. And so they brought them back in, they separated them, and they both implicated each other in the fire. So lo and behold, they both went to prison. And Michael Canali, who we kept in contact with, was told by Tom Metzger, and again, I mentioned that, he was from Fallbrook, California, and he ran to be, our representative in the Democratic Party. And thank goodness he only got 45,000 votes, but he was the grand dragon for the state of California. Can you imagine, receiving 45,000 votes, in Fallbrook? But there are areas where that would happen. And so, that movement was very difficult. So let me tell you what happened immediately. Those of you who might remember Irv Rubin of blessed memory from the Jewish Defense League, which was a very militant group, pro-Jewish, he came theoretically to protect us that morning and stayed there for 7 days they tried to put on a real tough front with baseball bats and ski masks, so to sort of scare the people away. And our congregants became scared too. And our children, I know the children and who are now in their late 40s, said they took their Chanukias, their Hanukkah menorahs, out of their window because they didn't want to be subjected. I remember people suggesting, I remember the people's names saying, we got to get out of this place. It's not a very Jewish place. We need to go to a more Jewishly friendly place. Well, the reality is that these two men were not, Temple City people, but they created havoc. And in the days that followed, the community reached out to us. We received hundreds of letters, of drawings that the young children had made, and people feeling badly that it happened. For those of you who remember Ollie's, I think we were given a $15,000 credit line with Ollie's, not a credit line, a $15,000 like a gift certificate to charge against from the Nell family. That's when Ollie's was like a hardware, a big hardware store. And so that was part of our rebuilding, and we received lots of donations, but there was a sense of rebuilding. And every generation has evil people and generations that will take people's freedoms away. And the idea is that we rebuilt. We didn't run away, and we realized we had a lot more friends than we had enemies. But it only takes one or two enemies to create havoc. And that's what all of us have to do, is to stand up against enemies who are willing to do anything. So each generation has known, people who would do that, and every generation is anywhere from 25 to 40 years. So 40 years before that, we had Hitler, and 3 years ago we had the people in Charlottesville, and they were not. Some of them were not good people.
Some of them were not good people.
I heard an echo, but it's okay. So we rebuilt, and the sanctuary is more beautiful than ever. And the message of Judaism is imperishable, like it shows in the lobby. And people don't realize it. And they were all young kids. I don't remember how old Tom and Carrie were, but they were very, very young at that time. And I don't know how frightened they were at the time, and how difficult it was when to come into your sanctuary and smell the smell of upholstery that had burned, and that also damaged our Torah scrolls. It was terrible. It was a nightmare. And to think that people would come into someone else's house of worship and want to burn it down. And so let me turn it over to Erwin, who did a lot of the work. But the most important thing is that we're still here. Tom was 15, really. Tom, you're 55? Wow. No, you were 15. What did you, are you off mute? What did you think of it, Tom, at the time?
He can't talk.
And Tom,
Yeah, this is Tom. Hi, I don't know if you can hear me. It was a very upsetting experience. It was a very
I know, I'm looking for
yeah.
it.
I don't know if you can hear me, Rabbi. How you
I
doing?
can hear you.
Okay. It was very upsetting because it was the second night of Hanukkah, I believe, and walking in with my dad to the sanctuary. What does a 15-year-old young man think after being bar mitzvahed there a few years prior? My beautiful temple was almost burned, and why? Why was it burned? Why did this happen? So we had a lot of questions, and I do remember looking over to the first row. And I know it was burned several rows back, from the front. I remember the picture, vividly. But looking at the front row and the prayer books burn, it just crushed me. But like you said, Rabbi, and here we are 40 years later, and proud to be, even though I'm not an official member of Temple Beth David, but I was there for my bar mitzvah and for my wedding, and first child was named there. What a beautiful sanctuary, what a beautiful temple, what a beautiful community of Jewish people under such wonderful leadership, such as yourself and the folks that have been there that have provided leadership. So I'm so happy to see that Temple Beth David is still where it is, and that what happened 40 years ago didn't make Temple Beth David become a pile of dirt and new condominiums and new homes there. It's still Temple Beth David of the San Gabriel Valley, and always proud to be part of that.
Thank you, Tom. That's sweet of you. And, when we had the movie stars come out, when we had Marriott Hartley, we had um, Leonard Nimoy, we had one of the writers from MASH was out here. We got as you saw, we got the telegrams from Gregory Peck and Walter Matthau, who some of the young people don't know who they were. But again, the community responded, and that was really heartwarming. And those who wanted to move the temple, eventually said, this is a warm and welcoming place. So why did Michael Connolly do it? Well, because Tom Metzger told him that the Jews are trying to take over the world, and the Jews are a threat to freedom and democracy. So when Connolly went to jail, his occupational therapist was Jewish, his doctor was Jewish, and his teacher, I forget whether it was history or math teacher, was Jewish. And he found out that Jews were good people and that what he did was terribly wrong. And so when he came out, being a far radical, the far right and the far left sometimes get very close together in what they want to do. He joined the Jewish Defense League, which I don't know how many of you remember, but was a very militant group led by Irv Rubin, who actually lived here in Arcadia for a long time. And he worked with Irv and went underground and worked with the FBI to go underground, against some of these radical groups. I don't know if Irwin remembers, but Michael Connolly came to play bingo when we used to have bingo, and we were all sort of scared because we were worried about when he went out to go to the restroom. We were worried about whether he would go into the sanctuary and start something. About a year after getting out of jail, he came to me and he says, "I want to convert to be Jewish." And I said, "Why?" He says, "Because I think that's the way more people should be." So again, to come from trying to destroy Jews to wanting to be a Jew was, a remarkable journey. And there are lots of stories to tell, and I could go on and on and on, but we have limited amount of time. I don't want to take time away from Irwin, who was so instrumental in putting the temple back together in terms of leadership and the physical sanctuary.
They waiting for
You,
me?
you,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The two of you have remarkably covered the whole saga of the fire, but there are a couple of things that I would like to point out. One of them is that in the sanctuary above the very top of the bima, we used to have, you see the 12 tribes vertically. Well, we had 12 stained glass windows of the Israeli tribe going horizontally, and the heat of the fire started to melt the lead in the stained glass window. We tried to save them. Dick Schwab, who was on the committee, tried to take one of them out, and it just fell apart. So when we did the rebuilding, we just covered them up. So at the top of the bima, going vertically by the ceiling, those remaining 11 stained glass windows are still there. So hopefully they'll remain there for indefinitely. The other point I wanted to make was that we had raised money for rebuilding. And as it turned out, we had enough insurance. We received much financial support from the community, and I might say from the whole country. We had money donated to us. And at that point in time, believe it or not, interest rates on savings were 19%. And it sounds unbelievable. And so we kept some of the money in savings account. And as it turned out, we did not have to take out a mortgage after the job was completed. The other thing I wanted to point out is that it's hard to convey the smell of burnt wood, burnt walls verbally, 40 years later. But it was really, I don't know how I could describe it, but it was so disheartening to come into the temple and smell that burnt wood. And we held services in the temple during this process. And what we did at that time, we had only 4 pews, 2 on each side. And we took some plastic material, covered the burnt pews, and we were able to sit on the pews and carry on our services. Everything behind those 2 pews were folding chairs. And then when we completed the job, we had 9 pews on each side, and that gave us a capacity of 180 seating. I can only tell you that the rebuilding committee was just wonderful to work with. There were 8 of us, and I'm sorry to say today there are only 2 of us remaining alive, and that's the rabbi and myself. But the committee did a fabulous job. The other thing is the stained glass windows on the east side of the wall. Who was it?
Joseph Young.
Joe Young designed those, and we spent a lot of time in Laguna Woods, or in Laguna, following the progress of those stained glass windows. Also, we were concerned that somebody might throw a rock, or we might see a drive-by shooting through those windows. So we bought, I think it's called Mylar, but I don't know. But on the back side, the outside of those windows, we have a huge sheet of plastic that is supposed to be bulletproof. So we've been very fortunate that we haven't lost any rocks were thrown through the window.
Yeah.
Rabbi, you and my son Tom have covered the situation completely. You took the words right out of my mouth. So thank you, and thank you for being on that committee. We had some bad times, but we also had some good times.
Yes.
Okay, Doris.
Right. So there's this stained glass window designed by Joseph Young. He also did the 12 tribes, and you can see from the 12 tribes, and from this, it's a different style. And he worked very hard on this. We had congregants who bid on different designs, but we felt his was certainly the most striking and the most historical. And we survived all of this, and we prospered. But every generation knows hatred, and there is hatred now in America. And there's hatred in Eastern Europe, and it's just part of the human condition. And it's really up to all of us to discourage the hatred and stand up against it. And when people lie, we have to call them on it. And when people denigrate other people, when people are mean to other people, when very few of our grandparents were born here. My grandparents weren't born here. My father was not born here. But it's the immigrants who have also added so much to our society. Where would our tech be if we didn't open it up to certain groups of people? And so it's part of our life, and part of being Jewish is being open to people who look different, who speak differently, who eat differently than we do. Not everybody knows what kosher varnishkas are, but I think they're terrific, or what a good kugel is. But that's all part of it. So 40 years ago this happened, and alavai, it shouldn't happen again. But we do know that bigotry, hatred, racism does exist. And if we're good Jews or Christians, or if we're good Muslims or good Islamicists, or if we're good Zoroastrianists, that we will fight together against those tendencies of cruelty and hatred. And that's what it really is. The purpose of religion is to make us better people. And if we don't have religion and we don't have morals and ethics, what really are we? So that's it for me, of what I wanted to share with you, all regular chad, so to speak.
Rabbi, this is Tom again. I just
Yeah.
wanted to, if I could just add one more thing.
Please.
Yeah, so my dad mentioned about the 12 tribes stained glass. And if this isn't a testament to we'll move forward and carry on, the 12 tribes that you see on both sides of the ark, the 6 on the left and 6 on the right, are the exact same stained glass windows that were up above, 6 on the left and 6 on the right. And my dad was mentioning on the side of the ark, the very top. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Joseph Young who designed also those stained glass windows, in addition to being the architect for the sanctuary as well. But basically, those 12 tribe stained glass windows burned, but they rebuilt them, put them inside, and said, we'll carry on. And I have to tell you, I can't tell you when the last time was that I was in that beautiful sanctuary. I know it was after when we got married, but I always enjoyed looking at those stained glass windows. So for me, it was, they're not new. They don't remind me of the fire. They're just inside now, and they have lights behind them rather than being on the south side and getting sunlight, which was beautiful too. But they're inside now, so we get to carry on. So thank you.
Right. And we're always building. And as many of you know, the roof over the social hall and the youth lounge and the kitchen needs to be repaired, not repaired, restored, rebuilt. And we're doing a fundraiser on that. And hopefully next week you'll hear more about it, whether we use YouFundMe or use Shul Cloud, whatever. But we hope that you'll respond also, because once we rebuilt it, it's fine, but it takes maintenance to keep it going. And roofs are only good for a certain length of time. So as we rebuilt it 40 years ago with community support, we need your support for the new roof that has to be installed. So anyway, we remember 40 years ago, and alavai, we should dream about what can be in 5 years from now and 40 years from now. And I don't know that we'll all be here in 40 years from now, but the most important thing is that we've laid the foundation for the next 40 years, and we hope that others will build upon it, just like the Richlands and the Kahns left a foundation for which our congregation was built. And I hope they're proud of how we carried it. And in 2 years, it'll be our 75th anniversary, and I hope the Rich Oliver Shalom will be proud of what we've accomplished.
Doris, you want to say something?
So thank you, Orly, for that beautiful video. Sure.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, Erwin and Rabbi, for sharing that. It's really interesting to hear.
Doris wants to share too.
Yeah. I know. Miss Doris, I know. We talked about it. I know. Don't worry. I put the spot for you. I just have a quick question, or we can go to it after. Well, thank you for sharing. And then Miss Doris wants to share as well because she wants to share as well. I just want to know because this right here, if you look behind me, this is the tribes. Right here, up here, and here, and let me tell you, the stained glass. When I first came to TBD, and I did my audition and my Shabbat, this caught my eye right away, and I knew nothing about an arson fire. I knew nothing about TBD in that sense, and I would love to know, maybe not tonight, but I would love to know what everything stands for, because the first thing that stood out to me, beside I saw fire very quickly, I see the 10 attributes of Kabbalah. That stood out to me really a lot. And I said, wow, what's the story? And there's a Torah. So another time, I would love to know what everything represents. I don't know if everyone in the congregation knows either, but I think it would be really interesting to learn about. And so I'm going to go to Miss Doris. So if you want to unmute yourself, and she wanted just to talk for a minute just about her experience as well. There we go.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I was teaching Sunday school at that time here.
If you look at the camera, you can talk to people.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. And I had an opportunity one evening to walk into the sanctuary after the fire, and they had taken out the pews, and they had taken the flags and piled them in front of I'm not being very clear, I'm sorry. The fire, when the neo-Nazis started the fire, they took the American flag and the religious Jewish flag, and they piled them up, and then they took prayer books and piled them up all on the bima, and they set fire to it there. So that's what spread. But they did not know that behind the doors was the ark, and inside the ark was the Torahs.
Yeah,
They did not know that they were there. So what?
two of them.
Two of them, yes. And they
But they were damaged.
They got damaged in the fire, but they were not put into that pile on the bima that burned up the other things. Now, how many years was it, Rabbi, that we had the Torah? Was it a year? We sent it to Israel, and they repaired it and fixed it.
Oh.
Correct. Yeah, it was all done within 2 years.
In 2 years, yeah.
We're able to do it all. But the idea that the American flag and the flag of the state of Israel were both burned, and it's a repudiation of American standards and beliefs and ethics and mores, as well as a hatred of anything Jewish and what's more Jewish in the state of Israel.
And
Yes.
just two other short things I would like to mention. First off, the last activity that was done in the sanctuary, I believe, was the children's Hanukkah party. They held that, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. They held that, and that was the last temple activity before the fire. The other thing I wanted to say was I walked into the sanctuary after the fire, before they had started repairs. They had pulled out all the damage, the broken glass and all of those things. And they had also pulled out the pews, except for the front. It was like, when I walked in, the floor was like a lava bed, just frozen and lumpy and dark. And the smell was just incredible. And I felt like I was standing in a prehistoric landscape, that everything seemed completely moved away, gone in the past, and everything was gone. It was a very hard experience. And I still, when I look at the windows going down either side, I remember when they went across the top and going down the either side. It's best that way, I think, but I always still remember the fire from that.
You know, the fire department said that if that fire had burned for what was another 15 or 20 minutes, the whole temple would have collapsed. So we were fortunate that they drove by and traced the source of the smoke in the area.
Right. Yeah, it was so bad that the steel beams that were supporting the roof, became warped at that time, and those all had to be replaced. But again, it was a sense of rebuilding, and every generation, rebuilds. And I thank Erwin and our committee that worked so diligently.
Thank you for your tremendous help in that, in rebuilding. You were really a great asset to that committee, to our committee.
Thank you. I was all of 30, just turned 34 years old at the time. So I was like what you call a young rabbi. And, it's hard to believe it's been 40 years, but
took us 2 years to complete the job, and we had a dedication one evening. And I had, when you go down to some of these, like Disneyland, you can get a headline printed.
mm-hmm.
And I had a headline printed that said, Temple Beth David rebuilds in record time. I said, 2 years was record time.
Yeah, for us it was record time. And also Cantor Orly, Doug Kotler was our cantor in those years.
Oh.
And, yeah. So he survived all
$25 a night.
Do you remember how mad the board got when he went from $25 to $35 a week for Shabbat services? Oh, I thought there'd be an insurrection going on.
Well, thank you to everyone. Thank you, Ms. Doris and Erwin and Rabbi, for sharing. I mean, if you see in that chat room, everyone is saying thank you for sharing these experiences. And, just kind of hearing this, because I have, I had I'm a mom. I prepare. I had a bunch of questions I want to ask, but due to time, we're not going to do. But I think, and Rabbi, you tell me your thoughts. I think it would be really nice to be able to maybe do a special, extra, I don't know, maybe adult ed. I don't know, but to do and kind of get to know more things, because I have so many questions I would love to know and get it straight.
Maybe Kristallnacht next year might be interesting.
Oh, Chris. Okay. Oh. I was thinking about that too, the correlation and everything. So, well, thank you to all of you. I think it's hard to talk about it sometimes, but it's so important too, because that's how other people find out. And so thank you again to each one of you, and Tom as well, Erwin's son, Tom Frazen. Thank you for sharing as well, from a 15-year-old standpoint. So
I would request, Cantor, if you could, to rerun that video at the end of the service for those who came in late.
We're sinking back in, Rabbi. I love it. I was thinking the exact same thing. Yes,
but we're not down the drain, right?
Not down the drain. I was like, I'm waiting for the joke. I need a Rabbi joke. It's been so long. So yes, we'll absolutely play it. And as we're talking, we're gonna do announcements right now.
Okay, so this Sunday in Sunday school, we're going to be having the Hanukkah crafts, which were delivered to most of the homes yesterday and today, and they'll get a chance to do those. And there's going to be the picking up of the latke mix this weekend by the sisterhood, if I have that correct. And then next weekend we'll have our Hanukkah celebration, and we hope that everyone will attend. The children are making their own Chanukkiot, and the religious school has provided free candles for for everybody and their kids when they take them home and make their Hanukkah. So it's going to be a wonderful time. But the most important thing is that we have the children make these certificates. And we want the children, not just to get gifts, but to give gifts. And every child can give a gift. And you don't have to go to Nordstrom, or you don't have to go to Marshall's for it. Or I guess Robinson's no longer there. Maybe the Broadway or whatever, or Bullock's. But we want them to give gifts of helping around the house, helping with the pets, helping, by spending more time studying, by taking out the garbage, or bringing in the garbage cans, or making beautiful things, and give mom and dad gift certificates to make them smile, and just explain what you're willing to do for them, because each candle we light is a source of light, and each child can be a source of light to their parents, and we want them to affirm that with each night of Hanukkah. And if you get a chance to look at it in the Hanukkah handbook, there is a way of each night of Hanukkah to help somebody else, and whether it's helping with breast cancer research, or whether it's helping to restore the rainforest, or whether it's a literacy program, helping animals, whatever. There's a whole list of things you can do, and they're on the website, that you don't have to leave home. You just have to raise a finger on your computer. It won't cost you anything. Free Rice is another wonderful website, and every time you do something there and you answer a question correctly, and the questions are at your individual levels, your grade levels, your age levels, and whether it's in geography or math or science or spelling, it's all there. And so we hope that you'll take that exercise and teach it to your children, teach it to your grandchildren, or just do it yourself. The world needs lots of people to help make it better, and it's up to each one of us. And as I've said many times, you can't make the whole world better yourself, but neither are you free to desist from doing your part of making the world a better place. And that's our mission as Jews.
Absolutely. So I see we're going to pass this on to our sisterhood president for another announcement. So she's already unmuted, sitting smiling. So Carol, do you want to give your announcement?
Hi, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and special hello to Rabbi, who just switched off. Okay, nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. And Rabbi did say we were having our latke mix pickup on Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. It's our drive-through express pickup, and that's when you can also pick up your Hanukkah essentials bag. So with those things in mind, and plus bonus, tomorrow night we have the drawing of the raffle. So stay tuned after Havdalah, and I will pull the names, because I run an honest game, and we've worked really hard putting this together, and it's just, the competition is fierce. It's getting there. I didn't know you guys could all want all these tickets. We appreciate every one of you. So stay tuned, tune in tomorrow, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Carol. And to continue on, because Hanukkah is right around the corner, the pandemic makes time freeze, but it really doesn't. Things are just flying by. Does that make sense to anyone else? I that's how I'm feeling, at least. So December 11th, we are having a huge, big Temple Beth David family Hanukkah service. We have so many fun things. At 6:30, we're going to eat our delicious latkes that hopefully you purchase from Sisterhood. And if not, then you don't get to show off your latkes. I'm just kidding. But we're going to do kind of a schmoozing dinner where we feel like we're all sitting and having dinner together, because I think we're all missing that. I'm for sure missing that. And so at 7 o'clock, we're going to light our Chanukkiot, our Hanukkah menorahs. I said I want us to, a memory I have when I first started a couple months in was walking into the social hall, it being dimmed and all of everyone sitting quietly with their Chanukiot lit, and the whole room was illuminated with light, and it was so beautiful. And so I want to do that on Zoom. So maybe we'll have the lights dimmed in your home, and you'll have the Chanukah light, sharing it across the screen. And then at 7:30, Rabbi Lachtman and I will be doing our service, and we have all our kids from religious school that are, each of their classes are leading a song, a Hanukkah song, and so it's really cute. Stay tuned. And then we have our service, and we have something really exciting. The ritual team's been working really, really hard. We are doing a family scavenger hunt and games, and so you get with your family or whoever, friends, whoever it may be, and we have prizes. So we have a lot coming up at TBD this next month. We have a really busy December, and that's great. We want busy. Like Carol said, tomorrow at Havdalah with me at 7 o'clock. At the end of Havdalah, it's like a 19 minute service. I try to make it longer because everyone's there and wants to stay. But we have they're doing their raffle at the end, so we're very excited to see who are going to be the winners. And it's 3 products, right? 3 gifts.
Yeah. And they can pick up the prize winners. If they would please show up on Sunday, they can collect their prize. It's just a win-win for everyone.
Nice incentive.
So thank you for reminding me.
Oh, of course. When I have moments when I usually remember things. So
Not to mention, but can you remind everybody what the raffle prizes are?
hold on, let me see. I might have the slide in.
Yeah. Okay. We have a raffle basket, which has a lot of Hanukkah things that was made from the gift shop. Light up necklaces, candles, little menorahs, a little bear. Oh, wait. Let me just bring you over here. There it is.
All right. Oh.
Happy. How's that? Our second prize, which I do not have here, is a crystal menorah.
Oh no, you're muted, Carol.
Where did I leave off?
Crystal menorah.
Okay, so we've got the raffle, we got the menorah and the beautiful crystal menorah, and the third beautiful prize is the handmade Afghan. Going to keep you nice and warm and snuggy, just the way we like it. Warm, toasty, comfy.
Warm and toasty, as I'm shivering in my garage right now.
Oh no, we'll take care of you. And thank you for a beautiful service tonight. Everyone did it was wonderful, and it's gotta love it. Just very nice.
Thank you again, Carol, and Arlene as well. And 2 more little announcements. If you ever want to lead a prayer, or whether in English, whether in Hebrew, I mean, if you want to do a different language too, why not? It's TBD. But if you ever want to lead a prayer, please just email me. I try to reach out to those that I know want to lead, like tonight, but sometimes with 3 children, it gets busy. But I want to make sure everyone feels like they get to be a part of it, and sometimes not just watching it, but they're participating as well. And the last announcement, something really important. December 6th is also, we have the Jewish Federation is their Hanukkah, it's their music festival that we do. It's a really beautiful event that they do. It's the second year I get to be, I was invited to participate, and myself and all the clergy from all the temples in the San Gabriel Valley are participating in it. So that's at 3 o'clock, and in a second I'll post the link. You just click, you have to RSVP. Because you get a special Zoom link. So beside that, we're moving on to birthdays and anniversaries. We're going to do a shortened version of it, but for birthdays, my mom's birthday, she turned 50. You're welcome. We have Michael Spindler and Joseph Weber, all 3 of them on December 2nd. We have Martha Karsh, December 3rd. We have Shirley Anhalt, December 4th. and Clint Basham and Nathaniel Shutman, December 5th. And then my dad, I'm never going to forget when the Arson fire was, because December 6th is my father's birthday as well. So we want to say a Yom Holedet Sameach, happy birthday to all of you. Don't worry if you have a December birthday coming up. Trust me, I like doing this. It's nice to be able to share it in our community as well and celebrate. And something really special, and I want to see that they're on. They are. So a couple weeks ago, we wanted to do this, but they weren't online with us at the time. I want everyone to go into that chat room and say a huge, huge mazal tov to Matthew and Christine, his fiance. They are engaged. So we're so excited. We had a big thing ready to go, but here we are today, and I was so excited to see. And so many people wrote me saying, Matthew is here. And I said, yes. So go say happy birthday, Mazal Tov to them. We look forward to celebrating in many more simchas and a wedding one day. So Mazal Tov, Matthew and Christine. We're so excited. There we go. There's the congratulations. And okay, that's all the announcements. There we go. Okay. Want to make sure we got everyone's. And so we are now at the end of our service. And so I'm going to pull up Aleinu. If it is your custom, I'm going to ask you, we normally do rise for this, but everyone is different. So we have Aleinu. See, I did have everything. There we go. All right. And Rabbi, do you want to lead us in Aleinu to close it out, because you spoke so?
My voice is, I'll join with you, but in terms of leading it, but okay. Thank you. People have requested that I not sing.
No, they haven't. See, I was prepared you were going to say.
Oh, yes.
You know how many people have said what a beautiful voice he has?
For a barnyard, they said yes.
Nope.
For calling the chickens in, yes.
Calling the chickens in. Well, help me call in the chickens right now, Rabbi.
I'd be glad to.
Aleinu
l'shabeach ladon hakol. Take good log yotzer breshit. Shelo asanu kegoy haratzot. V'lo samanu kemishpot adama.
Shelo
Sam helkeinu kahem. V'goher aleinu b'chol hamon. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim.
Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim
HaKadosh Baruch Hu
v'ne'emar
V'haya Adonai L'melech kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad Ushamo echad.
Yay.
Thank you, Cantor.
Thank you, Rabbi. I love when you sing.
Oh yeah.
If I could meet your third grade teacher, I would have some words with him or her, but
with her, yes.
Her, yeah.
I should write her and see what's
write her and say, hey, my Cantor wants to talk to you. Yes. So, and now I'm actually going to pass it back over to Rabbi with Mourner's Kaddish.
All right. So as Jews, we don't make a cult out of death. Rather, we're obsessed with living vibrantly. And this prayer is written in Aramaic and in Hebrew. And for those of you who are not up on your Aramaic, it makes no mention of death. It affirms that life is a gift given into our temporary keeping. And our challenge is to do the most with our life while we have it, and to be a force for goodness. So if you want to stand up for this, you can. But again, we affirm that our lives are a gift, and we affirm it by living our days with hearts, with wisdom, with kindness. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah v'yaman divra krute v'yamlik malchute. B'chayachon v'yamachon uvchaye dekol beit Yisrael b'galav zman kariv mirameim. Yehei shlama rabba min shemai v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Let's see. Do we have this?
Rabbi.
Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitbar, Yitraman, Yitnaseh, Visadar, Visalel, Visalel, Shemei Kodesh Shebrichu, Lilamin Kol Berchata, Vishirata, Tushbehata, Benamata, Dami Ran, Vialmavim Ramein, Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemai V'Chayim, Aleinu Vial Kol Yisrael, Vimu Ameim, Osei Shalom Bim Ramav, Hu Yasei Shalom, Aleinu Vial Kol Yisrael, Vimu Ameim. The departed whom we remember weak have all received life eternal. The vanished from bodily sight, they don't cease to be. They abide in the shadow of the Most High. Cantor, do you have the list of those 3 or 4 names?
I do. So we have the yard sites of Mayor Wolf, Celia A. Hannah de Camhi, Joseph Schreier, and Peggy Reach. And if anyone has any names as well, about a minute if you want to put that in the chat room. I think we should be good.
Good.
Yeah.
May their memories inspire us to be more than we have been and to be all that we can be. Amen.
Amen. And so I think we're going to end our service, actually, as Rabbi said. I'm going to share that video. I put together this video. So give me 1 second.
And thank you for putting together that video. Actually, there's a documentary that came on TV. It was called A Bad Moon Rising, and Temple Beth David is, I think, one of the 3 subjects to it. And it was interviewed by Stone Phillips, interviewed me, interviewed the Sisterhood president. I forget who else was interviewed. It's been decades since I've seen it, but I do have a copy of it. And there's another documentary also that Temple Beth David is part of. And so maybe for Crystal Nach next year, we'll bring out those videos and get a chance to review, how far we've come and how these challenges against anti-Semitism still exist in our country today. And Charlottesville is a wonderful reminder that there is hatred in this country, and hate is a strong emotion, and people can do terribly violent things during it. And that's why we need to quell it and to stamp it out wherever we see it.
Yeah. All right. You can see the screen? It's sharing. Okay. Perfect. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle and all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our hearts.
Thank you again, Cantor. It was a lovely, lovely composite reminder of a difficult time, but you made it feel very positive.
Thank you. So I hope, you know, especially with the pandemic and everything going on and having this, I said, you know, just like you said, taking a tough, hard time and making it kind of feel like, okay, we're doing it, we're getting through it. And just as a positive message to everyone that we will get through everything. We will get through this horrible pandemic. We will get through whatever may come our way as well. And we will get to our oneg because we are now there. So I am going to invite Steve again. If you want to unmute, and he's going to lead us in the Kiddush, and I'll do the Hamotzi, and that's going to be our service tonight. So let me see, Steve, you can unmute, and then I see someone standing there. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava u'b'ratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zeh l'tziyat Mitzrayim kivanu laharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'b'ratzon inhaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Very nice.
Very good.
Nice.
Let's clap, Helen. Clap.
There we go. My thing wasn't unmuting. Thank you to the party at Jackie's house. Thank you for leading. I love when we get to hear the voices together, you know, and there's no lag. It's really beautiful, and it's really nice having you all always lead for us. So thank you again, Steve, and everyone over there. And I have it smells amazing. I have a delicious challah, fresh out of the oven, fresh out of the bag. And so what I like to do, I'm gonna stop sharing screen on you. What I like to do, I did this before at TBD, and especially, you know, I joke, I say, I kind of thought pandemic a long time ago. I don't like so many hands touching the challah. It's just my personal self. So what I like to do, you know, in the video you saw, everyone's touching hands or touching the shoulder. So in this, I want your Zoom square to touch the challah, however, wherever you are. You may be up here, you know, wherever you are. I want everyone to touch the challah. So virtually, we are all holding the challah together. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And if you're eating dinner, we say, as Rabbi likes to say, we say B'tei Avon. Shabbat Shalom. We like to unmute yourself, say Shabbat Shalom. You can schmooze a little bit.
Or a lot.
Or a lot.
And services next week will begin at 6:30.
Yep.
6:30 for latkes, 7 for Hanukkah lighting, and 7:30 for
service. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And like I said, if you want
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi,
Shabbat
Rabbi
Shalom.
it's Arlene. I have never heard this story told so eloquently. It really touched me, and I hope we can do this annually. I think it's so important, and I want to thank everybody involved for doing this. It's incredibly important. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene.
Erwin,
Yes.
thank you so much for your
Oh.
for your recollections. It means a lot coming from you.
Thank you.
And we're booking you to play harmonica again, Erwin. It's so sweet. I love it. It's so. I remember you played for my kids. And they loved it, and so we all
Have a
love it.
very peaceful day tomorrow, everybody.
Absolutely. Stay safe. Stay safe,
yeah.
and hope to see you tomorrow for Havdalah. Hope to see you on Sunday for the Jewish Federation, the festival. If not, hope to see you the following week for lots of activities for our Hanukkah, for the school. But wishing you all safety, health, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Are there kids listening? Are there
Uh,
kids listening?
No, I'm going to stop the recording once I hear that.